This is a video about the term "Save Yourself, Black Men," SYSBM. Now, I read not too long ago in the title that SYSBM was waging war against black women in specific. And I am not under any groups or affiliates. I'm not SYSBM, but I definitely understand the principles of the group. The majority of the things that those men say make excellent sense. It's a very sensible, pragmatic approach to solving a problem and removing yourself from a labyrinth of ongoing issues, or from the hamster wheel of the same nonsense. Now, why do I say the title that I read doesn't make any sense? And again, the title was SYSBM is waging war against black women. Something that I've learned or I experienced and watched in life is this. The name of this channel is The Oracle. There's a reason for that. I don't just say things that I hear, like I mentioned the title that I read and heard. I say things about experiences that I've actually had and the life that I've actually lived and conversations that I've heard and been involved in, which all of these things together create experiences. Now, the reason why Save Yourself, black men or black males are not waging war against anyone is for this reason alone. They have simply walked away. They've laid down their weapons by the riverside. They've walked away from the battlefield. They are no longer available, eligible, interested. They are no longer involved. They're question marks. There was only a person there at one point in time. Now, why do I say this? Because one experience that I've had with so-called black people in the United States is this one. Sometimes I think that some blacks are so used to fighting all the time just to get a little bit of respect, just to get common decency, just fighting and striving and struggling to make their way, not all, some, that sometimes they don't understand when there's no need to continue fighting. Sometimes they don't understand when the war is over. Sometimes they don't understand that the village has been burned to the ground. The ashes have blown away in the wind. There is no more smoke left to watch bellowing into the sky. It's over. Sometimes they don't understand that there's nothing left to fight for. So, what I learned in life and certain experiences that I've had is this. At one point in time, someone very important in my life moved forward into eternity. And when that happened, I was under the mistaken assumption that I needed to take their place and that certain people in my family needed my help and that I was going to be able to assist those people. Well, I relocated over 1,000 miles. I changed my life. I was trying to help these people. These people drained me, drained my energy, attempted to drain my life, put my life at risk, and these people also attempted to drain my resources. Now, I also took responsibility in putting my life at risk for dealing with this group of people. Now, these were my relatives at the time. Now, I'm glad I had the experience. I needed to. The person that moved into eternity would have been able to give me this advice, but they had already moved forward. Now, one day I realized something. While I don't want to get too intense or too specific, but while trying to help my mother with something that I shouldn't have even been helping her with, but I was trying to help my mother, and I realized after I spent lots of money to help her, lots of my time, I relocated and completely changed my life. One day my mother told me in these words, "You're just like that no good daddy of yours. Don't want to work, don't want to do anything." Mind you, I've been working since I was 14. I was paying her bills at her home. I was paying my brother, her other son's bills at his home. And I realized something. It doesn't matter what I do, it's never going to be good enough because I look like the man that she chose as my father. So no matter what I do, no matter how much help I give, no matter how much fixing is done by my hand, it doesn't matter. In fact, the more that I do, the more hatred she has because I've proven her wrong. She would rather me do nothing so she can complain and say that I do nothing. Now, this is not about my mother. You'll see where this is going. Now, I realized other things occurred while I was trying to help this group of people. Another older woman, I was trying to help her and my family, trying to help her pay her bills and things. She flattened my tire. Now, knowing I drive across a bridge every day, that's about half a mile long. If I would have gone across that bridge, I could have easily run off the bridge. That wouldn't have happened because the Most High was ordering things, but these are the people that I was helping and I changed my life for to assist. Back to the point. So one day I realized something. These people I was trying to help, this ideal I was going for, no longer existed. These people I was trying to help were no longer my family. They had turned into other people, truly enemies at best. I realized there was nothing to fight for. There was nothing to stand up for. I looked around and I was able to see that what was once a village had been burned to the ground. All the landmarkers that were once available had now been removed. There was no chaff left. There was no ash left. There was no smoke left to watch rise. Literally, the battle was over. The war was over. At this point, it was time for me to pick up my satchel, as the people said in the olden days, to pick up my bag, turn in the opposite direction, and start moving forward. It was time for me to move on. And that's exactly what I did. Now, some people, after I moved on, people have told me, no, you can't just cut people off and go on about your business. You have to deal with people. You need people. You have to be around people. You have to forgive people and so on and so forth. I have no problem forgiving people. I've been forgiven. I'm not perfect. I never claimed to be. I've done plenty of things that I've asked forgiveness for, and I've been forgiven. I've forgiven plenty of people. No problem with that. But I realized those people that were telling me that were incorrect. You can forgive people, but you don't have to deal with them anymore. Because if you do, you are setting yourself up for failure. Now, I realized one day that it was all over. There was no point in me spending my time, my resources, my presence in this area with this group of people. It was not valued. They acted as if I owed them something when I had paid them back plus interest for anything they'd ever done for me in life. Now, the reason I say that, and some people ask me, oh, I guess you're mad. I guess that's why you don't answer my phone calls. I don't know what I've done to you. And I've told these people, you didn't do anything to me. You are simply who you are. I simply accepted who you are. I'm no longer trying to create a utopia. I'm no longer trying to understand why people do what they do. I'm no longer trying to intervene into the lives of other adults. I have learned to accept reality for what it is. You see, a man can mold and shape his own reality. I can mold and shape my own reality. I can't mold and shape my brother's reality. I can't mold and shape my mother's reality, my friend's reality, my uncle's reality, my aunt's reality. I can't mold and shape anyone else's reality besides mine and those beings that come out of me. I can mold and shape my children's lives to a certain point, and then I'm no longer capable of doing that because they must mold and shape their own lives. That being said, to say, the title that I read about all these SYSBM men are waging war against black women is completely incorrect. The person that wrote that and that spoke that knew that it was incorrect. They're saying that to create an emotional request. They're saying that to try to manipulate someone into emotion, and they're saying that to try to pass the buck or create blame. I simply wanted to come here and say, I understand when the war is over and it's time to move on. That's what these SYSBM men have realized. They realize there's nothing left to save. There's nothing to fight for. There's nothing to stand up for. There's nothing left. If you want to survive, which is every man's natural position, that of survival, you must move forward and leave. You can't stay with the herd of failure. They're all wounded and the majority of them are dead. You've got to move to greener pastures, to clean water, to comfortable positions. You've got to go where you are treated best, and you've got to go where you can and will be the head of your table, wherever that is. So, all that being said, to say, as I said earlier, sometimes certain demographics of people are so caught up in the war and the fight, and we gotta fight, we gotta keep fighting, we're in the fight, all this, the revolution will not be televised or broadcast. I recognize that these SYSBM males realize there's nothing left to fight for. So they've picked up and they've moved on. And I've met quite a few of them where I'm living now. They don't live under any type of titles such as I don't. I don't live under titles as well. But I realize they have simply gone their own way and they've moved on with their lives. They're not looking like a lot of the men that I saw looking in the United States. Beat up, wrinkled, defeated, destroyed, fighting just for general respect. They get respect at the door wherever they go because they are grown men and they present themselves as grown and responsible men. They're not dealing with all these preconceived notions of being no good, so on and so forth. Now, I realize at this point, these men have seen the oracle. They've seen into the future, and they understand if they want to survive, they've got to move, they've got to go, they've got to be gone. So these men aren't waging war against anybody. These men have realized that there's no war to be waged. The war is over. No one lost, no one won. The war is simply over. And I agree with him. The war is over. Stop fighting, trying to get some form of respect or get something back that you feel like you've lost in the United States of America. My advice would be you may want to pray, maybe write down some of your goals and go after what you want in life. Stop waiting or trying to save certain females and males and people in your life. Many of them have been set up for failure. They've been set on that merry-go-round of failure, and there's nothing you can do to stop it. What you've got to do is save yourself and set yourself up for success, and you've got to set your offspring up for success. That's how you fight against the goings on in the United States. That's how you fight against the destruction of a nation, by moving forward and creating healthy, wisdom-filled, knowledge-filled beings and bringing those people, ushering that new life into the earth, because some people and certain demographics of people have to die out in order for everyone else to move on in a nation. It's happened before. It reminds me of when Moses and the children of Israel were in the wilderness. Certain things had occurred, and it took 40 years for a certain generation to die out. At that point in time, they were able to move forth and go into the promised land, right or wrong. You have any comments? Go ahead and list them here. I'll probably make additional videos. I'm going to try to start making more videos, but all this being said to say, you've got to let some generations die out in order to move forward. And when that doesn't work, sometimes you have to move forward yourself, and you have to usher new life and new wisdom into the earth in order to correct or restore order and balance to your life and your bloodline and your offspring. All right, again, I'm just saying I understand the mindset of those men that have chosen to be SYSBM. It only makes sense. If you have any questions, feel free to post anything here, comments. I'd love to hear from you guys. All right, take it easy.